As mentioned, my name is Ted Gregory. I'm the Director of Operations for PCS Property Claims Services, based out of Jersey City, New Jersey. I'll give a brief overview as to what we do and what we're about, and then I'll jump into some technology discussion moving forward. So when it comes to PCS, the premise for PCS is since 1950, for 66 years. The slide's not appearing on both sides here. But for 66 years, the premise for PCS has been simple. PCS was formed at the behest of the insurance industry within the United States to collect post-event catastrophe data and aggregate that data to provide insurance industry loss estimates for said catastrophes. Since 1998, PCS has been providing those catastrophe estimates in a breakdown of three categories: commercial, motor, as well as personal lines, to provide those that need additional data, more granular data behind those catastrophes. As I mentioned, the estimates that we produce are based on a retrospective claims review, meaning that after each catastrophe, we survey the insurance industry within each country that we operate, United States, Canada, as well as Turkey, to obtain specific information regarding their loss history. Regarding PCS users and those that consume our data, as you can see on the screen, we have a multitude of users of our data, which includes the homeowners, general public, primary insurance carriers, marketing and sales, various different departments within insurance companies, governmental entities, catastrophe modelers, reinsurers, reinsurance brokers, as well as those that are within the capital markets. And quite simply, as I mentioned before, the process that we utilize to capture our catastrophe data is to directly survey the insurance industry within each country that we operate within. We target 70% of the market to receive our data, and we aggregate upward and include additional data and information within to complete the estimates that we provide to the industry. Now jumping forward into the technology portion here. Back when I joined PCS about 2.5 years ago, PCS did not have a mobile application in which to make it simple for our users to access and consume our data. Since then, we have published a PCS mobile application on the Apple platform, soon to be on the Android and BlackBerry platforms by the end of 2016, so our customers and users can consume our data. Specifically regarding catastrophe claims and technology, what you see here are a policy in force overlay over a granular peril map. This is one type of technology that claims departments are utilizing within the United States and abroad to quickly identify the severity and location of losses, which enables claims departments and insurers to quickly deploy the appropriately skilled adjusters to locations to, number one, improve accuracy, also improve customer service, and reduce cycle time and expense when handling catastrophe events. Now, many of the items that are listed on the screen here today, maybe 5 years ago or so, may have seemed like the far distant future. However, the future is today. There are applications that are available whereas adjusters and others can use to mobile diagram properties, interior and exterior, no longer needing to use the old tape measure as well as other methods. Drones. Many of us see and hear about those day to day, in and out. I'll speak about those a bit more in a further slide. Wearables and biodata. Again, years ago, that may not have been something within our purview, but now is a day-to-day occurrence. And, of course, the global data shift with the Internet of Things. And speaking of the Internet of Things, as we know, many of us have our mobile phones, mobile devices, and so forth. A recent study from Gartner indicated that by the end of 2016, roughly 6.4 billion devices will be connected to the internet. That's a lot of data. That study further indicated that by 2020, that figure of 6.4 billion will increase to over 21 billion devices connected to the internet. So again, a tremendous amount of data for those within our industry who need to consume that data to produce the rates and other factors that are within the policies that are being utilized. I spoke about drones a few moments ago, and speaking of drones, within the past year, from 2015 to 2016, the sales of drones has increased globally by 224%, a tremendous growth. And with that being said, there's a tremendous amount of different uses that these are being used for. However, within our industry, just as an example, within Canada, over half of the commercial drone users of drones in Canada have used their equipment for the insurance business, which is a very large percentage. These devices have the capacity to capture visuals, which otherwise may have only been attainable by expensive means. Back in the past, handling claims, wildfire events may have needed the usage of hiring a pilot as well as a plane to fly over many of these types of events to capture data and information. That no longer is an expense that many companies are having to consume, being that these drones are available and can capture the same type of information. However, with that being said, there's still obstacles to overcome, such as within some countries, such as the United States, whereas drone usage is limited in many of these events due to federal regulations as to where they can actually be flown, who can fly them, as well as when. The photo that you see here, this was an example of what is called Google Glass. Some of you may or may not have heard about Google Glass. However, this device was being piloted by a number of companies, one of which, Erie Insurance within the United States, piloted Google Glass with a number of applications for the insurance industry. There's a number of applications that are being utilized for underwriting as well as claims adjusting using these tools, which assists with quicker coverage decisions, expense and time savings, improvement of customer service, and then again, overall information sharing, cross-information sharing amongst the divisions within insurance companies. A term that we're hearing quite a bit and quite frequently these days, disruptive innovation, disruptive technologies. We have a number of them that are outlined on the screen here, one of which is being readily used across many areas of our industry, the robotics, automatic intelligence being able to communicate with the insureds. And I'll say this in regards to the robotics part of it and that evolution. Within our industry, we have various segments. We have the older segments, such as myself, and then the younger segments, the youths out there that are now consuming insurance. With that dichotomy of populations, the older segment may not tend to use as much of the newer devices, newer technologies, these disruptive innovations. However, many studies are now indicating that our youths who are now consuming insurance are quite a bit more inclined to be more receptive to these new disruptive innovations. So with that being said, with the youths now coming into the market, we need to be prepared to handle and provide the insurance coverage and provide information and communicate with them through their channels of choice that they prefer. And also speaking of autonomous or disruptive innovations, autonomous vehicles happen to be one of the most popular discussed disruptive innovations these days, and I'll read a few statistics and we'll talk about those for a few moments. 38% of accidents are caused by sleep, distraction, or medical issues. 46% of accidents are caused by incorrect decisions. 11% of accidents are caused by unexpected behaviors. However, only 5% of accidents are caused by technology flaws. Basically what that's saying is that with these autonomous vehicles, we are going to experience a drastic decrease, presumably, of accidents over a period of time, making our lives and our futures much safer. And the impact of some of these autonomous vehicles and disruptive technologies. It's projected that by 2020, the number of accidents will begin to decrease by 3 to 6% per year over the course of 20 years. So why is this information important regarding these disruptive technologies and what's going on within our industry today? Well, we can look at it quite simply at other industries. Let's take a look at Uber and taxis. Taxis have been around for nearly a century, if not more. However, Uber, and now Lyft as well, are taking a significant part of their market share with regard to commuters and getting around from location to location. And then we can also take a look at another industry, the hotel and lodging industry, how that's being affected by Airbnb. Again, a new disruptive business with a different business model, again, beginning to take over a significant market share within a long-standing industry. So what does that say for insurance in our industry? Could it happen to us? It's not a matter of could. It already is. Our industry has a perception among some that may not be very favorable. Think of that as lemons. And with that being said, there's a new company called Lemonade, founded by the executives of several well-known insurance companies, that has basically built a business model digitally, which is a simpler product, simple pricing, simple wording, which is very attractive to these young millennials that are coming to our industry these days. So what's that say for us, or many of us that have been in the industry for decades, that we need to be able to adapt to the changing times? So at the end of the day, basically when it comes to catastrophes and claims, what are the impacts? Well, there are various impacts that could occur, but our responsibility is quite simple. And I've been in the catastrophe business for nearly 2 decades now. Insurance is a contract, it's a promise between the insurance company and the insured. And the insurance company is obligated to indemnify the insured at the end of the day. And with that being said, we need to be prepared to communicate with each of our customers in the methods that they are comfortable with and be able to adapt to the changing times and the technologies that are out there. Thank you.